This is Prisma Lopez-Marin here on 18 WJTS. We are on Monday with the mayor here with Mayor Terry Seitz of Jasper. Thank you for having us, Mayor.
Thank you very much for coming, Prisma. Good to see you.
It's always great to see you and to be here in Jasper. We would like to talk about IACT, and that's a very interesting organization in terms of how they promote leadership, but also partnership building. Can you talk more about that and how that relates to us?
I'd be glad to. Municipalities across the state of Indiana, that's cities and towns, are represented by an organization called the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns. It's actually the oldest organization of its kind in the United States. Started out as the Indiana League of Cities in the 1800s. So we had a fall conference, and it's an annual event. We had several council members attend as well because it was in French Lick. I always go representing the city to that conference, but there are several offshoots of that. We have that group brings us information. They're kind of our liaison between the state legislature and the cities, and they will also help work with legislators and offer opinions on legislation or advise of here's how it's going to impact municipalities around the state. Clerk treasurers have a group within that. Planners have a group within that. Mayors have groups within that. And it's essentially the backbone of Indiana municipal government. And what we believe firmly, and I believe as mayor, is that the state of Indiana is wonderful, but the state of Indiana is driven by its communities, its cities and towns. Thriving communities, thriving state. That is our intent. So we enjoy our representatives at the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, all the educational information they provide us all year long. And we kind of celebrated a little bit this week at French Lick with our fall conference, but we had the largest attendance ever. More than 1,100 people attended. And again, the conversation is focused on challenges, opportunities, and problem solving. And I can tell you, even though I'm a Republican mayor, and we have a city council that has mixed, Democrat and Republican just doesn't come up. These are things, and never does during the year, but it's fun to see everybody just literally engaged on what we face as municipalities. And we are getting ready to take a new approach with that organization, which I think will benefit Jasper and others. That organization is going to be rebranded, renamed, reimagined into accelerating Indiana communities, or accelerating Indiana municipalities. I even got it wrong. It's going to be called AIM at the beginning of the year, because we're taking an aim at new things, of basically being a more of an advocacy organization, but also to work with some nuts and bolts issues that are going to always be there. We don't want to be the group that always says no to somebody else's legislation. We'd like to forward and advance things that really say these represent what our members feel. And we have almost 200 member municipalities, cities and towns around the state of Indiana. So virtually every community that is an incorporated community. In Du Bois County, that's Birdseye, Holland, Ferdinand, Huntingburg, and Jasper has an opportunity to be on this. I can tell you it's very interesting. I think we're the only county like it in the state. Ken Seacard, the president of the town board of Ferdinand, Mayor Spinner of Huntingburg, and myself, we are all on the board of directors of IACT, and soon to be called AIM. In fact, Mayor Spinner, congratulations to him, is actually the second vice president, which is kind of saying that I think it will be in 2019 he'll be president of this organization. So I want to offer my congratulations to him. We believe in what they do. We learn so much from peer discussions. You've been part of our roundtables that we have here of Southern Indiana mayors. We do those monthly, and that we get together. We have at least a minimum of an hour together. We see each other's communities. We learn about projects that other cities are doing, and we bring it back and go, wow, how would this work in Jasper? How would this work in Huntingburg? So you ask a simple question, but it's a very exciting answer. We thoroughly enjoy our involvement, and I believe in, and the city of Jasper has been a very active force in, prior to me being involved in the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns.
I definitely do admire, as not just my profession, but also just as a resident here in Du Bois County, I admire how well each leadership comes together. I've seen a lot of projects that you and the other mayors and town manager have been involved together, and I think that just, says a lot of your leadership as a community?
Prisma, I'm not sure how exactly it started. We do know, I know Mayor Spinner and I have a prior relationship to both of us being elected mayor. And our promise to each other was, let's collaborate on many things that we can. And that being said, he acknowledges he still has to be mayor of Huntingburg. I have to be mayor of Jasper. We won't be able to work on everything. Sometimes we may be on a different point of view. But ultimately, we have received, along with the town of Ferdinand, Du Bois County has got 3 strong communities of various sizes that have the understanding of what it is to be a city and a community. And those are really, really critical. Each of us collaborate within our own communities, but together we collaborate on behalf and with the county as that may take place. And we think that actually serves our citizens well. It's intentional, and I think that is probably the one thing that, as mayor, I'm the most proud of. I'm a believer in collaboration, and we have the results of such collaboration. I had 2 great stories to share. I remember meeting Phyllis Menke, the matriarch of OFS Brands, and her son is Hank. And I knew her from afar, but I really never had talked to her for any length of time. And she walked up to me at an event in Huntingburg that we were both attending about a year and a half ago, and she goes, Mayor Seitz, I have to tell you, when I was growing up, that Patoka River was so wide. And now, with Mayor Spinner and you in office, it is very narrow, and I love it. And I know she wasn't talking about the actual water volume. She was talking about the land in between, the ability to collaborate. And then about a year ago, at the Jasper Chamber of Commerce Home Expo, I was cross-working a booth from one of the Sisters of St. Benedict's who had a booth there. And a nun put her little finger out and waved me over. So I'm going to definitely go over.
Yes.
And she looked at me and she said, "You're Mayor Seitz, right?" I said, "I am." She goes, "I love what our communities are doing together. You're working together. You're looking at things from the same point of view, and we all benefit." And I just thought you'd like to know that, and I do. I know that, again, we stand together. We also have to stand alone sometimes because our cities are different. But ultimately, we have good friends in the business, and the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns takes that friendship, that peer understanding, far beyond political labels, and we are in the same boat together, taking this state to greater places, and that's what communities do.
I agree with you, Mayor, and thank you for your leadership. I do also want to acknowledge that you did win an award over at IACT. I'm not exactly sure about what it was for. Could you let us know where it was?
Well, the mayors themselves have something that's called Mayor's Institute. This year, Ball State is the college that is supervising the Mayor's Institute. Prior years, it was Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis that did that. And it is essentially college level leadership training and group discussion. We may have presentations from on various topics 3 or 4 times a year that we meet in Indianapolis. And so part of that, we also need to be delivering information and presenting about our city. So they have tallied up the score, and apparently Denny and I both met the criteria to earn this distinction that we received this week. And as I told Denny, I said, see, longevity does give you something. But we have made the investment also to attend these events, to be sincerely involved, to deliver back to other peer mayors, and I'm very grateful for that. So it was a nice award. I kind of forgot about it that day. I didn't wear a jacket, didn't wear a tie, but everybody else around me was all dressed up there for that. They must have remembered they were getting an award.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for having us here in Jasper, and thank you for joining us here on Monday with the Mayor.